From stories across the globe to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Sharifa Tahir.
Good evening, I'm Stephen Dialwis. Let's take a look at the main headlines for tonight. The President says that he who has given prominence to the farmers will never breach the confidence placed on them. The Presidential Media Division says that a news item in a weekend newspaper regarding President's secretary was false and based on malicious intentions. A court injunction preventing a stock of Chinese organic fertilizer entering the country. State Minister Channa Jayasumana says that Sri Lanka's COVID immunization program has reached the final stage. Everything is ready to reopen primary sections of all schools on Monday. A look at the top story. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that he who is giving prominence to the farmers will never breach that confidence under any circumstances. The farmer community should take decisions after evaluating the good and the bad. The President requests the entire farmer community not to be deceived by the politics of provocation and to line up in the interest of the future generation. He has made these observations upon inspection of the Organic Fertilizer Processing Centre and Organic Cultivations in Udubadava this morning. The President has keenly observed the manufacturing of organic manure at the Fertilizer Manufacturing Centre. He has also inquired on the technological methods being employed to maintain the qualitative nature of the produce. Thereafter, the President has arrived at the farmlands and inspected the vegetable and other crops. He has also watched how the soil is being prepared with the application of organic fertilizer. The centre is engaged in manufacturing around 12 tons of compost fertilizer in a month, utilising the earthworms. The President has also witnessed how crops such as papaw, bananas, passion fruit, as well as vegetables such as cabbage, beetroot and vatana grown successfully in a 13-acre extent of coconut land. A special feature has been the maintaining of a model paddy cultivation using organic fertilizer. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that he has stated in his policy statement that the country's agricultural industry should be developed without using chemicals. He also said that this is a difficult task, but our generations of farmers are aware of the traditional cultivation methods. The President further said that he is a resident of Hambantota and recalls how his parents were engaged in traditional methods of farming. He added that today there is a striking difference in farming attitudes. In today's soil, earthworms and crabs, as well as some fishes, are not present in the inland waters. Those days, those who were engaged in paddy cultivations bathed in the rivers, but today these ways are intoxicated. He also said that in certain areas people request for water purification machines because the waters in the reservoirs are undrinkable. Even small children are afflicted with kidney or cancer disease. The President said that unfortunately not a single previous ruler had taken any decision to confront the problem. He said that he believed that the people had elected him for a change. He further said that today a higher guaranteed price is being paid for paddy, but some ignored these progressive acts and engaged in agitations demanding chemical fertilizer. Such agitators must also request for kidneys. A large kidney hospital was established in Polonnaruwa, but the establishment of such a hospital was not what was needed. It was most appropriate to prevent the future generation contaminated with chemical fertilizer and other poisons. If Sri Lanka was made a country without poisonous substances, that alone would pave the way to attract tourists to the country and to set up a better market. The President added that they are able to provide a higher guaranteed price for produce, but some groups are trying to infuriate the farmers through politicization. The President said that they wanted to ask first whether safeguarding the people from poisonous substances is a good deed or a bad deed. If it is a good action, then it would be difficult to implement. They do not want to take political benefits out of the misery of the people. The President calls upon all to join hands to win the challenge. He has also recalled that at the time when he assumed duties in the post of Defense Secretary, a war had been ravaging in the country for 30 years. He added that at the time, many had asked him not to lay his hands on the problem, but the President has added that they have fully ended the war within 3 years. The President further reiterates the need to defeat the efforts to prevent their activities. This is a challenge which no other politician has accepted. He further said that he is fearless to say that this is a good task and he is not afraid to carry it forward. The President has also expressed hope that they would be able to overcome the challenge within a short period. It will not take 10 or 15 years of time. Sri Lanka is spending a large amount of dollars to import fertilizer from abroad. He has inquired as to why Sri Lanka is not able to save this foreign exchange through local production of fertilizer. He also recalled that Sri Lankans during their thousands of years of history did not produce urea. It was in the 1970s that urea was imported for the first time. The President has requested the farmers to have confidence in him. The President said that he had increased the income of the farmers as soon as he assumed power. The highest prices were paid for paddy, which could not be sold for even 25 rupees at that time.
දහස් ගණනක් අපි යූරියා ගැහුවේ නෑනේ. මේ 70 ගණන් වල තමයි යූරියා ගෙනාවේ. ජනතාවගෙන් ගොවි මහතුන්ගෙන් විශේෂම ඉල්ලන්නේ මං ගැන විශ්වාසය තියන්න. මම ආපු ගමම්ම ගොවි මහතුන් ගැන ඉඳලා තමයි ඒ අයගේ ආදායම වැඩි කරන්න තමයි වැඩිමලක් දෙන්නේ. මිට ඉස්සෙල්ලා අද දැන් කෑ ගහන කට්ටියගේ කීයටද වී 25ට ගන්න බැරුව ගොවිය 100 විහාන කරගත්තා. පහුගිය පත්‍රවල බැලුවම ඒක තියෙනවා. දැන් අපි 50ට සාතික මිලට දෙනකොට ගොවියා 60ට 65ට 70ට අද වී දෙනවා. හොඳ පරමාර්ථකින් යුක්තව මම මේ පටන් අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. ඒකට මම ගොවියහතුන්ගේ සහයෝගය විශේෂයෙන්ම ඉල්ලා හිටිනවා.
Later on, the President has inspected the refuse recycling centre established at the premises of the Udubadava Pradeshia Sabha. Ministers Mahindananda Alutgamage and Johnston Fernando and parliamentarians Gunapala Ratnasekara, UK Sumith and Saman Preherath have also taken part in the observation tour.
President's Secretary P.B. Jayasundara says that he sternly rejects the main news item published in the weekend Aruna newspaper. The Presidential Media Division has disclosed this fact, issuing a media communique. The Presidential Media Division's news release says that the report titled President Secretary P.B. Jayasundara has made an impact to credit 290 million rupees to a private account as payment for Indian fertilizer was fabricated and published with malicious intent. It further says that President's Secretary has informed the IGP to immediately conduct a systematic and extensive investigation on the newspaper report by calling all relevant groups.
The Commercial High Court has imposed an injunction on the Qingdao Company of China, its Sri Lankan representative, as well as on the People's Bank, preventing the entry of a stock of organic fertilizer into the country shipped by the relevant company. The restraining order has also suspended any payments by the People's Bank through a letter of credit opened on behalf of the Qingdao Seawind Biotech Group. This order blocks the Chinese company or its local representative receiving any payments under the letter of credit. The Ceylon Fertilizer Company Limited has filed the relevant petition seeking an injunction. According to the agreement signed in this connection, the Chinese company was required to export to Sri Lanka organic fertilizer subjected to disinfection. However, the shipping company has acknowledged in its shipping instructions that microbes may have been included in the fertilizer stocks. The National Plant Quarantine Service has confirmed through its inspection of some of the samples of the fertilizer stocks that harmful bacteria were present. It has also been reported that this was a shipping order exceeding the value of 1 billion rupees made by the Ministry of Agriculture via a tender procedure. A group of attorneys at laws including Additional Solicitor General and President's Counsel Susantha Balapattabandi, Deputy Solicitor General Nirmalan Vigneshwaran has appeared on behalf of the Ceylon Fertilizer Company.
State Minister Professor Channa Jayasumana says that Sri Lanka has come to the final stage of the COVID immunization program. He reiterates that Sri Lanka is the first country in the South Asian zone to receive the Pfizer vaccine as a booster or a third vaccine. State Minister Professor Channa Jayasumana said that the vaccination program has reached the final stage despite numerous obstacles. In comparison to other Asian and African countries, Sri Lanka is far ahead in its vaccination process. Professor Channa Jayasumana further said their main attention has been focused on these days to inoculate school children between the ages of 16 and 19 years. Administering of a third dose or a booster dose will commence in the first week of next month. Prominence will be given for frontline health workers and defense personnel engaged in COVID control programs to receive the booster dose. In addition, those engaged in the tourism industry will be given preference over the inoculation of the third dose. The President has instructed them that a large number of tourists are scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka in the months of November and December as a result of the commencement of the winter season in Europe. The State Minister also said that attention has also been focused to inoculate those above the age of 60 years with a Pfizer vaccine.
තුන්වෙනි මාත්‍රාව හැටියට ෆයිසර් එන්නත ලබා දෙන්නයි අපේ බලාපොරොත්තු තියෙන්නේ. ඔක්තෝබර් මාසයේදී අපිට තවත් ෆයිසර් එන්නත් ලක්ෂ 3ක් ලැබෙන්න නියමිතයි. ඒ වගේම නොවැම්බර් මාසයේදී ලක්ෂ 21ක් ෆයිසර් එන්නත් ලැබෙන්න නියමිතයි. මේ අප තමයි මේ දකුණු ආසියානු කලාපයේ විශේෂයෙන්ම තුන්වෙනි මාත්‍රාවක් බූස්ට් ඩෝස් එකක් මේ ආකාරයට ෆයිසර් එන්නත ලබා දීම ආරම්භ කරන පළවෙනි රට.
Inoculation of children between the ages of 16 and 19 years is taking place these days. Children who were unable to be vaccinated under the vaccination program are able to receive the vaccine at the offices of the Medical Officer of Health on every Saturday. Accordingly, a vaccination program was conducted at the Medical Officer of Health office in Battaramulla today. So far, 27,966,717 vaccines have been inoculated on people in Sri Lanka under the COVID inoculation program. The first dose has been delivered on 14,928,248. The number of persons who have received both doses is 13,038,469. The number of persons who have been vaccinated yesterday was 163,588. Professor Shyaman Rajendrajit said that more than 20,000 children with complications have been inoculated. He also said the vaccination program has been carried forward successfully. The specialist physician also said that 139,000 school children have been vaccinated.
සාර්ථකව ඉදිරියට යනවා කියලා අපිට සන්තෝෂයෙන් කියන්න පුළුවන්. ඊයේ වෙනකොට 1,39,000ක් එන්නත් අපි ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා පාසල් ළමුන්ට ලංකාව පුරාම.
437 COVID-infected patients have been detected in the country today. 18,729 persons are receiving treatment continuously. 350 patients have recovered today. The total number of recovered patients is at 503,090. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed 19 COVID-19 related deaths yesterday. 14 of the fatalities were of the age of 60 or above. The remaining 5 victims were between the ages of 30 and 59 years. Meanwhile, State Minister Dilu Mamunagama says that the train and bus services will resume between the provinces after the 31st of this month. A new set of guidelines has been issued regarding observances at all places of religious worship. Accordingly, religious observances have to be performed by a minimum number of persons maintaining a distance of 1 meter between them within a building. The series of guidelines further says that the maximum number of devotees permitted at a time is 50. The Ministry of Education says that all arrangements are being made to reopen the primary sections of all government schools on the 25th of this month. The Director General of Health Services has given permission yesterday to recommence classes in the primary grades according to health guidelines. Primary divisions of schools with less than 200 students were reopened on the 21st of this month acceding to health guidelines under the first stage of the school reopening program. Under the second stage, grade 1 to grade 5 classes will recommence operations. Principals say preparations of schools for the reopening will take place tomorrow. Specialist physician Professor Sharman Rajendrajit says that it is the responsibility of the parents and the adults to send the children to schools according to health protection measures. State Minister Dinu Mamunugama says that Sisu Seria buses will be deployed for service without restrictions to fulfill the needs of the students and teachers upon recommencement of school activities. We move on to some development news items now. The Meegahakivula Pitamarwa Road, which links transportation facilities to many remote villages in the Badula district, was developed with carpeting at a cost of 400 million rupees. A group including Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva was present at the ceremony to vest with the people the newly reconstructed road. The residents in many villages in Roberia, Ragalavatta, Vavathanna, Suryagolla, Bogahavatta, Polvatta and Katavatta will be benefited by the road reconstruction. A new market complex is to be constructed at a cost of 54 million rupees in a land belonging to the Kergal Pradesha Sabha. The market is to be set up facing the Colombo Kanti Main Road in Ranwala. Sabaragamu Province Governor Tikiriko Pakadua and State Ministers Taraka Balasurya and Kanaka Herath were also present at the inauguration ceremony. Reconstruction of the Minuwangoda town and the National Development Programme Dayak Nagana Siayak Nagara got underway today. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga and State Minister Dr. Nalaka Godaheva was also present at the ceremony held in this connection today. Work in the water project of Hermanvatta in Dodangoda was commenced today under the leadership of State Minister Jayantha Samaravida. The construction is scheduled to be completed in 2 months at a cost of 2 million rupees.
The upgrading of organic fertilizer manufacturing programs are taking place throughout the island under the Sabagya program. The main objective is to direct the farmers towards an agriculture freed from poisonous substances. An organic fertilizer manufacturing project being implemented by the Sri Lanka Air Force was officially declared open at the Vanni Regiment Training School premises yesterday. Air Force Commander Air Marshal Sudarshana Patirana has presided over the event. The work is being carried out under the full supervision of the Executive Agricultural Unit of the Sri Lanka Air Force. The aim is to make a reality of the concept of a green country and a tomorrow without poison. Under the first stage of the program, it has been planned to manufacture 25 tons of organic manure. The output is to be deployed in the cultivation programs of the Air Force. The remainder is to be handed over to the farmers via the Ministry of Agriculture. Farmers in the Mahavali B zone in Polonnaruwa have been encouraged on the usage of organic fertilizer recently. Farmers in the zone engaged in paddy and solid crop cultivations in an extent of 120,000 hectares of land in every season. It has been anticipated that the agricultural output would be further enhanced through application of organic manure. A house-to-house program to educate the farmers on the benefits of organic farming has also been conducted. The initial consignment of organic fertilizer turned out by the farmers in the Gaul district was handed over to the agrarian service centres. The event has taken place at the Keranvilla field in the Labudua Agrarian Service Division. It has been planned to cultivate paddy in 14,200 hectares of land in the current Maha season. The required fertilizer quantity is 7,100 metric tons. It has also been pointed out that 70% of the quantity has already been produced by the farmers.
We now move on to more local stories in brief. Presentation of motor cars for the winning lotteries of the National Lotteries Board was conducted at the Lotteries Board today. Accordingly, 3 motor vehicles have been handed over to the lottery winners. Chairman of the NLB, Attorney at Law Lalit Pium Pereira and others were present on the occasion. A discussion pertaining to the setting up of a new investment zone at the Charlie Mount plantation in Valigama Matara was held at the Parliament complex today. The objective is employment generation in the southern province. It is expected to create 20,000 direct and indirect employment opportunities through this initiative. Speaker Mahindayapa Bewardana, Minister Vimal Veeravansan, Parliamentarian Nipunu Ranavaka were among those who have attended the meeting. Measures have been taken to introduce a blockade to prevent the intrusion of oil residue leaking into the sea through the Dehiwala Canal. Laying of the barrier on the canalway as the first step of the program has taken place recently. The Ministry of Environment of the Western Provincial Council is in charge of the project. A similar blockade was used earlier to prevent the flow of refuse, including plastic material, from the canal to the sea. The Western Provincial Council says that this barrier had prevented large amounts of refuse material falling into the sea.
That's it for the news this evening. Have a good night.
Have a pleasant night and stay safe.